Hello, and welcome to Season 4. Hopefully, everything's going and we're now live. This is today I'm testing out some new equipment, um, new camera for, well, not a new camera, an old camera, but the first time I've used it, hooked up to my computer for streaming, as well as new mic and some other equipment. So, uh, welcome to everyone watching. If there is anyone watching, a few of you I see in the chat. Um, but anyways, just want to say thank you. If you do, there are any tech issues, let me know, and I'll make sure they are ironed out as soon as possible. But well, hello, Carl. I see Carl in third over there. Alex, welcome, guys. Thank you for joining the live chat. Basically, what today is going to be, as the title says, is just a little bit of a channel update. I'll look at the camera, not my video feed. A little bit of a channel update in terms of just what's been going on behind the scenes. Kind of just give you a look at the logistics of what we're doing, as well as you can see from the different titles, what's coming up, new goals and all that. There's some exciting things to talk about. So I'm obviously pumped to get into it. Oh, hello, guys. There's lots of people jumping in. So again, thank you to everyone that says hello. Also, at the end, I reached out to premium members if they had any questions. So I'll be doing a Q&A at the end, just kind of wanting to, I guess, whatever it is, whatever they've asked, just kind of talking, I guess, about, a bit more behind the scenes about us and the channel and whatnot. So excited to get into it all. So again, thank you guys for joining. And I'm excited. This is my first time doing live stream like this without the support of the rest of the team to help, keep the conversation going and whatnot. So I appreciate you guys all bearing with me as I figure this out. And especially you guys over there that are up late, 2 a.m., 1 a.m. Well, I appreciate you guys staying up late and hanging out with me. All right. Well, I guess the first place to jump in, as you can see from this nice little, it's on this side, nice little menu of discussion points for us here tonight. First thing, so this past weekend, we played at the Red Harvest GT. Our whole team was here. As Kurt mentioned in the chat, we had some solid success as a team. So really thrilled and excited about that. So I'll get into that in a moment, but I do want to say a big thank you to Josh Pound, who is our TO and host. We were at the Red Harvest Grand Tournament in Toronto here this weekend, which is beautifully 10 minutes away from my house, which is the closest tournament I've ever been to. So I'm super thankful for that. But Josh did an amazing job. It was a 50-player event with the support of his team, the Knights of Pyre. Shout out to those guys as well. They pulled it all off, made it all happen. It was an awesome event, super big success. It was held here in Toronto, or in Mississauga, kind of a suburb of Toronto. But we had guys all the way from across the country in BC, and then a bunch of guys from Quebec as well, and maybe some other provinces. But no, I know from both of those. So we had guys from all over, so we're super excited to see. And I actually had a buddy of mine from British Columbia, Tyler Buckets. If you're on the AOS Coach Discord, you probably know Buckets. But he was crashing on my couch for the event this weekend, and it was a blast having him and meeting a bunch of the guys from out west, as well as some of the guys we've met before in Quebec at Grand Clash. But that's what we were up to this weekend. We were keeping busy, playing in a GT, and that's why there was no battle report this weekend or today. We'll obviously get back to regular scheduling, but obviously hard to edit when you're away at a GT all day for a couple of days. Carl says there was a guy from Arizona as well, so that's got to be the furthest traveling person for the Red Harvest GT that I've heard of. Hey, Zach. Hey, Jim. Thanks for joining and appreciate the kind words. Are those ovens in the background? No. These are 5 of the 10 3D, 12 3D printers that I own just from my business before doing what I'm doing now. Well, I mean, I'm still using them a ton, but do a ton of 3D printing. All the terrain you've seen on all the tables on the channel, I 3D printed. So this is the machines that make them for me. So not little ovens, yep. But they definitely create as much heat as ovens sometimes. It can get rather toasty in here in the summer when they're all running, so might as well be ovens. But also, yeah, just talking about Red Harvest and Josh, the TO, he also has a company. I want to give him a shout out, Red Harvest Customs. If you're interested in like, you know, he does border kits for the new table border size. If you want to make your 6x4 table, the new size for the GHB and the new edition. He's got a border kit that helps gives you nice play space and some like nice trays and whatnot with it. So there's a link in the description if you want to check out Red Harvest Customs. He also does like dice trays, I think, and some like paint racks and other peripherals for the hobby. So definitely check him out. He makes some awesome stuff. But again, now talking about the action, just gonna kind of give a brief overview here today. But as I said, the team had an awesome result. There were five of us Season of War guys, and then our adoptive BC brother Tyler for the weekend. So six of us playing together, well, not together, but all playing at this event in our little group. And between the six of us, we went a combined 23-7 overall, which was a pretty insane win rate. It was like just over 75%, I think, or 60%, 65%, something like that. But otherwise, or yeah, who knows, somewhere in there. But anyways, it was pretty good success for us, so we were all thrilled with that. We had a couple inter-team matchups, unfortunately. Specifically, Carl had to play three of our teammates. He played Oliver, he played Ridge, and he played myself. So that sucked that we had a couple inter-team matchups, but Carl was just trying to take us all out. Well, Ridge is in the chat as well, but Ridge is asking who won, and I know Yuri won best overall. So congrats to Yuri. He got the best overall at Red Harvest, which is a combination of battle, sportsmanship, and hobby stores. So that was a big one. Congrats to Yuri from Bulldog Hammer. Not a sister channel, but friends who have their own Bat Rep channel here locally in Toronto. Some good buddies, and I actually grudge matched Yuri round one, so that was a fun adventure. And yeah, but other than that, Ridge did go 5-0 on the day, which as he was trying to allude to in the chat. The only 5-0 of the tournament of the 48 players, so big congrats to Ridge. Super happy and proud of him. He got best general for his 5-0 performance. Did super well, had a tough road, and we were obviously all thrilled for him. And again, everyone on the team did awesome. Ridge was the only 5-0. We had two guys at 4-1 and two at 3-2 for that 23-7 record overall. If you take out the like inter-team matchups we had, it was, I think our team record was 20-4, which is even more insane. So just so happy and so proud of everyone. My brother it was his first GT for Alex, and he went 4-1, so that was an awesome result for him. Yeah, thrilled overall. And then Ridge won best general and first in the tournament on sports stores. And then Carl won best destruction, and I won best order because Ridge had a cooler prize, so best order fell to me. And then I also got best table for the Elven Scenery table. I brought 4 tables just to help with the tournament, and one of them got voted best table, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, so that was Red Harvest. That's pretty much it. We will be this coming Sunday, which is Halloween. We will be doing a more in-depth like kind of tournament recap for our first team tournament as a team. In AOS 3. So we'll be doing a recap on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, so the same time this one started. So if you're interested, join us for that on Sunday, and we'll kind of give a more deep dive about the tournament and the tactics, and try and give some insight into our games, what we learned, and how they went, and hopefully impart some information and knowledge. And excitedly, being Halloween, Ridge was saying he's going to show up in full costume, so I'm excited to see what costume Ridge is going to wear. Who knows if some of the other guys might show up in costume as well, but Ridge promised he would just for the premium members, so I'm excited to see what he pulls out for that. And hey, Tyler's in chat as well, so What's up, guys? Lots of friends. Levon was in the chat as well. I played Levon, so Yuri's brother, the two brothers of the Bulldog Hammer team and channel. I got to play both of them, so had fun in both games. Getting smashed and smashing some big things. But okay, so that was the first thing. Obviously, just trying a little info about the Red Harvest GT. Again, stay tuned. Sunday, October 31st is going to be our live stream about that tournament, recapping the whole adventure. Next talking point for kind of channel update behind the scenes is talking about bat rep production. So just want to give some insight into, I guess, the process and what's going on with the channel in terms of the bat rep production. As you guys know, we're doing 2 battle reports a week. I say it in literally every video, trying to tell people about our premium membership. But 2 battle reports a week is an insane workload. The amount of work that goes into it all, like, first of all, there's 4 hours to sit, 5 hours of playing 2 games a week for 2 people. That's 20 hours of playing right there. That, thankfully, from our team is all, we all are volunteering our time to play those games and whatnot. But that's time, and obviously bat reps take longer, and we're doing that because we love it and we're just passionate about the game, which is obviously why we do all of this. Which is all like the fun, cool, awesome side of having the channel is play the games and getting to interact with the community and throw up all the content and all that. But behind the scenes, after we play a game and before it goes live, for each battle report, it's about 15 to 20 hours of editing. So between like 2 and 3 days, which is a lot of work. That editing is everything from like the graphics that you see with all the different armies, and we have to do custom and thumbnails and all that kind of thing. But then just like the raw cutting of footage, just slicing up all the different things, cutting in and out the different camera angles, which again you've seen probably we've added and 2 new camera angles for kind of a little more personal feel when we're in our recap stages of the event. So just kind of more stuff going on, more work with all those different angles and things. And we want to continue adding stuff, but the more we add, the more work it is. So it's kind of a violent circle. But it's about 30 to 40 hours of editing a week. Usually 10 hours of playing for myself and 10 hours of playing for combined from the whoever else is playing that week. As well as that's not even considering the time building and painting new units, or like the cost of new models or army books or whatever, which is all stuff everyone in this hobby deals with. But we're obviously trying to expand the range of armies and whatnot. We have that. There's a lot going on, and lots of armies, as you guys have probably seen. We've had a few new ones lately, and try to throw more heroes out there and adding stuff all the time. So behind the scenes, there's a lot of work going on in editing. So if you didn't know, most of you I'm sure know, but just wanted to kind of explain that, which is why some of the other things we wanted to do and I wanted to do with the channel have kind of taken a backseat, and we haven't been able to kind of dive into some other areas we want to yet, just because I'm literally like full blast editing nonstop, spending all my time just kind of on the current level of output. So that's pretty nuts. But hey, Daniel just joined our premium membership. Thanks so much. It honestly is the only reason we're able to do any of this. So big thank you, Daniel, for joining, as well as all our premium members that are in the chat. There's a ton of you. So thank you to everyone. And especially you see the I think the gold star icon is it's 6 months, or I think it's 12 months of being a premium membership. So that's some dedication. I really appreciate it. And hey, Yuri's in the chat as well. So Yuri was best overall at the GT this past weekend. Had thrilling games with 3 Season of War members. I think, yeah. So 2 or 3, yeah, 3. So that's all. tough road for him, but he did awesome. Um, but anyways, talking about actually again production of the battle reports behind the scenes. That actually a couple things that were missing from my breakdown of the time it takes is script writing for each battle report, as well as the recap or the narration recording. So I used to do most of the scripts, and then some of the guys like Carl and Ridge have helped with scripts before. But actually, over the past like month, a buddy of mine, he's taken over all the script writing. So you know, paying him for the work because it's obviously it's work. But he's pretty much watching the games at high speed and kind of just doing the log of events that are happening, and we're writing the introductions and all that, and that's normally about like, depending on the length of the game, 2 to 4 hours per battle report. So it's actually been a huge relief to have Wee's help in just that that aspect of just taking a piece of the workload off my shoulders, consistently and reliably. So if you're watching, you're the best. I saw you for like 5 minutes at the GT this weekend, and super appreciate all the help you're giving right now. It's honestly, I would be going even more crazy if not for that. Then she's definitely not watching, but a big thank you also to my wife Cassidy, who is the voice behind the narration. She is a big nerd like I am. She's learning, kind of AOS in the Warhammer scene just through me, obviously, and our obsession. But she's been like, a big D&D nerd. She's got 3 Zelda tattoos or 2 Zelda tattoos. So she's a big nerd and gamer in her own right. So it's probably the only reason I'm able to do any of this is with her support. So not only lending her voice, but helping make it possible for me to spend so much time editing and filming games and whatnot with everyone, and being accommodating, allowing me to go to events and compete and all that fun stuff. Scott, I am kind of looking back and forth at chat, so I apologize if I miss anything you guys say. I'll try and catch what I can and respond where I can. And then when we get to the Q&A, I'll be way more active and engaged over there as well. But I don't want to drag the information side of this out too long. But Scott asked the best way of getting in contact with us. For myself, it's probably like Twitter. You can reach out through the website, seasonofwar.com. There is a contact page. I don't check it very often, which goes the same for all of my emails. I'm so bad with emails and like answering the phone. But Twitter is the best. And then if you don't have Twitter, I'd say website contact page, or even comments. Between like Ridge is great, and Carl, all the guys are usually pretty great at and myself trying to read all the comments and whatnot on our videos, get back to as many as we can. So even just in comments of videos, it's a good way. Robert, thank you for the donation. Really appreciate that. These printers are all Ultimakers. So Ultimaker 2 Pluses. This is like a 2 or 3 generation old version or model, but super reliable old printers. They're like, I've had 10 of these things running for like 6 years nonstop for a long time, and they're beasts. They are, in terms of like hobby level desktop printers, they're at the like top of the price end. Just a warning. I bought them. They were bought by my business, so they're not necessarily like the most cost effective entry level printer or kind of hobbyist printer, but they're super reliable, which is why I went for these guys. And to be honest, they've been huge workhorses. If you can find some used, even Ultimaker 2s, they're amazing. The new ones are way more expensive, the new versions, so I kind of stuck with the old reliable ones. I didn't need all the fancy new toys on all the new versions. Other than that, though, again, continuing Bat production. As I said, I am doing this full time right now. And that is full time in terms of the amount of time I am putting into the channel. The goal you've heard me talk about it before in Bat Reps, is like we want to be sustainable, and kind of the first step of that goal is of me being able to do this full time and create content at the scale that we are, which is these 2 battle reports a week. It demands my full time hours. So my goal is to be able to make a full time living for the full time amount of work I'm putting into the channel, and that's literally only so I can survive and feed my family, which is obviously the most important thing. Um, if you know me, I'm not a very financially motivated person, but I love the hobby and I love um, just being able to do, hopefully continue long term being able to do this for the future, as long as you guys enjoy the content and want to see more. So that's when you hear me talk about sustainability, that's kind of like my first target, that I want to hit. Actually, kind of timeline wise, the goal is midway through 2022 is hopefully we hit that kind of like minimum level of being able to like afford to live and feed my family and everything. My wife, I do have a child. My wife's going back to work off maternity leave in January as well. So obviously, like everyone, everyone needs to eat and live. So hopefully, I can continue putting in all the time and work I am. I love doing. I love playing. The editing's all right. I'll do it, but it's not my favorite. Um, but anyways, that's what I'm doing. Full disclosure, I'm always happy to be transparent. We're about 60% of the way right now, or maybe 55% of the way. So like that kind of like minimum level of like being able to live and feed my family. That's kind of a goal. But we've been so we're not there yet, but we are trending in the right direction. We've had like 15 to 25% growth almost every month, in terms of like the channel revenue and the premium members. So I can't say thank you enough to everyone. I try and say it all the time, and when you hear me say it every video, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Like it is the only reason we're able to do any of this, like financially, but also like support wise, the evolution of the channel. If you go back and watch our first ever battle report, so much of the growth and changes that we've made have been ideas driven by our our subscribers and members and premium members. So the support we've gotten, obviously, so thankful for, and it's been such a cool experience. So yeah, you're gonna hear me say it forever, but thank you to everyone that does support us. It really goes a long way in terms of putting food on the table for my children, my child, and my dogs. So children, I have 2 dogs. Where are we? So yeah, that's pretty much it for talking about Barrow Productions. Again, just want to kind of explain the context there and why, like, I, again, putting 40, 50 hours in myself every week. And then that's like 9 to 5. And then when my daughter's awake, I'm giving my wife a break. And then when my daughter's asleep, I go back to work and painting, which is on top of all that time too. So that's why sometimes the bat reps come out on a Tuesday like last week instead of Monday, because it's probably a Seraphon's Sylvaneth or sorry a Seraphon Lumineth game, and there's so many spells, so like the games honestly take way longer to edit, as well as stuff like this week after a GT. I just did not have the capacity to get it 2 bat reps or an extra bat rep edited like in advance to release this week. So appreciate the patience in that regard, but hopefully I can keep you entertained while you're painting tonight in compensation. But yeah, then with our premium membership, we haven't talked about them for a while, but we've had a number of goals previously with our premium membership to help incentivize both people joining and not only joining for what they get access to, all the extra battle reports, which again, everything you've heard me say before, but also like specific membership goals when we hit certain numbers that let us make upgrades to the channel. And we're making a lot of upgrades in addition to the goals, but these are some that we've kind of put put in stone that are going to happen on a schedule when we get there together with your help and support. Um, uh, the most notable one, our final one of kind of our first series of goals, was to do the 2 battle reports a week that we're doing now. So we were doing, one a week and then one extra one a month just for premium members. Now we're doing one a week plus one extra a week just for our premium members. So again, it's kind of the business model that we've kind of gone for to make this sustainable. Again, need to financially be able to justify all the time that's going into everything. So yeah, that's a little bit of an explanation there. One goal I did want to talk about was that we hit, but it never really panned out into anything, was doing specialty matches. So the goal was to do an extra specialty match every month, in addition to the bat reps that we were putting out before. Wow, Zach, that you are absolutely insane. I don't know what else to say other than thank you. Wow, yeah, that's it. Big thank you. Yeah, you're crazy, man. But can't say enough. But thank you, everyone, for the support. It really means the world. Grumdy, what's up? Tyler, what's up? So yeah, where was I? Distracted. Specialty battle reports. So the goal was to do doubles games, 2v2s, different testing different formats. We actually filmed one of these, a 3,000 points game between Ridge and Zach. But the issue was we hit that goal of and immediately right after we hit the 2 battle reports a week. And as soon as we were doing 2 battle reports a week, we really couldn't. I couldn't do that 3rd battle report once a month in addition to that. So that kind of got filmed that one game, and then it never happened. Nothing ever came of it, which is unfortunate. And then the new Oric book came out, and it's like, okay, it's too late to put this out now. So yeah, who knows? But I guess so. Before we talk about new goals, which there are new goals that I'm excited to talk about for the first time tonight. But that old goal of the specialty match that we were going to do, we are going to kick back off and get back into doing those now, rather than in addition to the normal 4 monthly ones or 1 a week month battle reports. That's going to be in place of one of those monthly or weekly battle reports. Just as a heads up, based on the feedback we get from doing that, if you guys don't mind, that switching out for one kind of more fun battle report a month, we're going to keep doing that. If you guys are like, hey, we'd rather see just the regular battle reports instead, and we'll do that. Honestly, it's whatever you guys want to see. So you guys are the directors and producers in this regard. But yeah, so that's coming up. We're talking about kicking those off in October. So we'll probably film the first one in October. It might not come out till December because of the production lead time and whatnot, but should be coming sometime the next month or so. Enough about the old goals. Excited to talk about the new goals for the first time. Hey, Matt. John, thank you so much as well. Tuning in from Australia. I have no idea what time it was. It's probably in the morning there. You're probably just waking up, so not in the middle of the night or anything. But thank you so much for the support. And it's crazy. It means the world to us. Didn't expect any of this tonight, so thank you all. But new goals. We have 4 new goals set right now. And honestly, we're already almost at one of them. But they're going to be at 100 member intervals, which was what our last one was, to go to 2 battle reports a week. So every 100 members from our last or kind of our last milestone, we're going to have new goals. We're already I think 70 members to the first 100 member goal, which the first 100 member goal is going to be an expanded line and range of emojis for use in our streams and live streams and premieres, and if you're a premium member, you can use them in the comments and all that fun stuff. As we've already seen some talk about, you the premium members, if you do check the custom emojis, already have access to a bunch of the new ones. So I was excited. I got too excited when we got some of them back, and I put them out already. But we will have more coming when we hit this goal. But there's already a taste in there of a bunch of the army specific ones. So yeah, more coming, and they're to be continuing. It's the same artist we've been working with the whole time, so it's super exciting to get more. And we're actually going to be revamping the original ones we did and putting a little more time into those because the batch we just did is like a whole nother quality level of amazingness. The art that he did, so excited to kind of revamp some of the old ones as well. And with that, a bunch of the membership goals are not similar to this specifically, but they're designed in a way to not necessarily add a ton of work, because that was the problem with the old membership goals is they added a ton of extra work, like again, an extra battle port a week or an extra battle port a month in addition, just like GW always says, right? I'm a Lumineth player, can you tell? But these membership goals are more things tailored to ways we can improve the channel, whether it's a financial investment or other, a one-time time investment. But it's hard to add ongoing, time sinks. Really, I throw like all the money this channel's making right now, I'm throwing double back into the channel one way or another, whether it's armies or equipment. Like I'm in a super thankful position to be doing what I'm doing right now, and being able to do this and put all my effort and time and investing everything back into the channel right now. So again, thank you guys all. Elias, thank you so much. Jose, thank you so much. Or Jose, Jose, I assume it's Jose, but I've only talked to you online, so don't know the pronunciation for sure. But Jose is actually the first ever premium member. If I way back when I launched the premium membership and didn't even say anything about it, this is, I don't know, maybe years ago. But so Jose, thank you so much for your support from the beginning. Shout out to you, appreciate it so much. But anyways, that was the first new goal, new expanded range of emoji. Already have launched some of it because we're already close to that goal. The second goal is actually what I'm really excited about. And again, another improvement for our battle reports is an expanded range of sound effects for our battle reports. So you've heard, like we have the like command ability and ability sound effect. We have like the cast or unbind sound effect, and then like shooting in combat. And it's like that, those four, and that's it. So when like a dragon roars or like spits fire at someone, you hear bows twanging, and that's it. So not the most thematic all the time. So we're actually looking to have a list of 20 different sound effects that we want to either produce or get produced. Okay, it is Jose said Jose is fine, so I'm happy that I can pronounce it somewhat acceptably. Apologies there. But yeah, so the second goal is like to go from like 4 sound effects to like 20 different sound effects, or close to 20 things, like more specific ones for like when you reroll your charge roll for the command ability, forward to victory, like something thematic to like troops charging into combat. So things that kind of tie in a little bit more to what they're doing. Musket fire or like a gunfire for shooting sound effects when it's like KO or a city's army and stuff like that, and a dragon, or I don't know how you do a dragon fire like flaming sound effect, but we're gonna need that one a lot with the new Stormcast book, I'm sure. So expanded range of sound effects. And honestly, there's a bunch I have written down here. And I've been like, I have this notepad by me that when I have ideas, So battle tactics, monstrous actions, maybe even doing different ones for some of the monstrous actions. I think it would be really cool to expand that. It's going to add more at a new time, but we'll figure that out. I actually, this is off the script, super excited thing I am really pumped about editing wise. That's helped speed things up a little bit the past week or two. I guess it hasn't sped it up yet, but I all the abilities that come up um, for every army, I've started scripting in or writing scripts for. So basically, what that means is I'm editing a battle report and somebody uses at the double, instead of having to go find the last time I used that and copy and paste it back over, um, or retype it out, which is often the fastest case, I can now with the scripts that I've written, it's not programming. It's like this way simpler than that. I like just did what people told me, and then I fill in all the information I want. But I can now, for something like all out attack, I can just type AOA and I hit enter, and it auto populates the entire pop up description of like all out attack and the description of what it does, or our paraphrase description. So that's actually a neat little thing that for every I have to do that for every army. So I'm doing it slowly, battle report by battle report. But once we have those done, and I go to do an army for the second time and have that already done, it's going to be a huge time saver. So excited for that element of it. Grundy, Riley, Rob, thank you guys all for your donations and support. Again, you're all crazy, but thank you so much. Unfortunately, I have the worst disappointing news for Grundy. We, I think, are all no longer going to be coming down to Texas for the GT there. As much as we wanted to, we kind of made the call a couple weeks ago, just because the kind of COVID situation down in Texas wasn't looking so hot, and I don't want to, hate to get into it, but just different. It's a lot different up here in Canada, and the restrictions, and America's a little looser about it. So just for the sake of our families and whatnot, international. It's not not even Texas even in particular. Well, Texas is kind of has been having a tough time, but also just like the airports and all that. So we won't be down at Texas, Grundy. I was so looking forward to seeing you down there and seeing your beautiful Daughters of Kane Army. But next time there'll be more events, I'm sure. So hopefully we see you soon, but we unfortunately won't be at the Texas Games Workshop GT. Maybe next year. I still have my ticket though. I need to either refund it or sell it to someone. But I got like the super swag bundle, and I still kind of want the swag, so who knows. But anyways, going off topic. Scott, thank you so much as well. Really appreciate all the support. You guys are, I'm just gonna keep calling you guys crazy because you're crazy. Okay, the third goal that we have set is to add 2 new battlefields. So if you remember, one of our previous goals was we did add 2 new battlefields, and it was the Elven one and the Snowy Dwarf one, and our premium members chose those 2 between 4, and I actually bought mats for all 4 with the intention of eventually doing the other 2, so we had 6 on rotation. So now we have the goal is going to be to add those last 2. So one was like going to be like kind of a magma, caverny, chaosy themed one, fire and corn and all that fun stuff. And then the second one was like kind of like a very cool mat. It was like Shaiish themed, and we're gonna use all printable scenery terrain again, like we've been doing. Makes life so easy. It's beautiful terrain, and they have some awesome, really cool ruins that are super like decrepit and paint up all spooky and whatnot. Actually, if you've seen our Archeon, one of the ruins from that terrain set that I want to use for that board, I used on Archeon's base. So he's climbing over it. So that's one of them. Those are the 2 sets we're looking at doing for that goal. And then the last goal, for me, the most exciting goal, because as a consumer of YouTube content, I hate this so much. But if you're a premium member, you may have noticed the last two battle reports for a premium member, like the premium exclusive ones, have had 0 ads. No ads disrupting, at least mid-roll ads. I don't know about all. I think they're not monetized at all, actually. No ads at all, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna hold myself to that after this. But our premium member videos from as of 2 weeks ago now have no ads disrupting the game at all. And I hate ads. But unfortunately, the logistics of needing to financially be able to feed my wife and child, um, uh, we need ads right now. But this last goal, so the fourth goal in this set, and again, we're gonna add more down the road, I'm sure, is to remove all ads from all Season of War battle reports ever. Is the goal. Like, just straight up, who needs them? Well, I mean, we need them right now, but I'm excited. Hopefully, we get to that point where we don't need them, and then we can remove them, and none of us have to deal with those pesky ads anymore. And it's like we see tonight. It's all thank you again to the generosity of you guys who are, like is the world these days are kind of independently funding the content that you guys want to see. So I'm so thankful that you guys enjoy what we're doing on our channel here. Yeah, so lots going on. Those are all the goals we have set. I was thinking I wanted to do 5, but I couldn't think of another good one again that wasn't like super tailored to wasn't it again, it was hard to find goals that were like not adding a ton of work on an ongoing basis, which is kind of the main criteria because there's no capacity to add more work on an ongoing basis. But I was thinking of doing things like adding, like one of our last goals, like a new army for the channel. Um, but it's like, we've added corn, we've been adding a bunch of other armies, and I don't want to be. I love painting. I do all that on the side when I have time around the editing, and I don't want to have to wait to add new armies for that goal. Like, as you know from our votes, Tyler, thank you, buddy. Sushi greater than Bridge. We had sushi one night, Saturday after the tournament. Went out for Team Sushi, which was delicious, and my stomach was feeling it the morning after going into day 2. But anyways, it's thinking of doing new army goal, but again, didn't want to limit because I'm producing and we're all painting stuff as much as we can, like everyone in the hobby, and I don't want to kind of have to wait for that till we achieve that goal to put out new stuff. And we do have, we've seen before in the membership votes of the new art for the choosing the matchups that our premium members do of Stormcast. We got Stormcast coming up. So we filmed Stormcast with our buddy Matt, who is in the chat. And actually, I played Matt again at the GT on the weekend. So we played Stormcast versus Matt Soulblight, as you guys chose to see on the channel. And that's going to be, I would say, a double debut because we saw Stormcast once, but it was like the older stuff. So this is like a debut of pretty much just a pure Dominion Stormcast army against the Soulblight Gravelords. So me and Matt had a great game, and that's coming out actually this Thursday as our premium member game for this week. So that's very exciting. Our premium members, again, choose all our matchups, and I like to, kind of reward them and their support with the first look at the new armies or that new things that we've added to the channel. And there are many more coming in the works. You may be able to, what side is it? This side. Be able to see right behind me, just subtly out of focus, there's an army on the table back there. That we're going to be filming our first battle report with this tomorrow, actually. It was to be Thursday, but now tomorrow, me and Ridge are playing a game. And I actually, just before this stream, put up a vote for our premium members for what army is going to face off against these sweaty big boys. So go vote if you haven't already. after the stream though. But again, not we've had the army on the channel before, but this is a channel army, so it means we're gonna have this channel, here filming anytime. So there'll be a few of us playing the army at different times, I'm sure, and it just means we'll be able to kind of have it on the channel more often and more regularly. And it's a popular army right now, so like always, we want to show you guys how to face it and how to beat it, because that's not easy right now. Um, but yeah, so excited for that. And me and Ridge are going to be debuting that against whoever you vote for. And we don't even know who's going to be playing what. It depends on what opposing army wins that vote. Oh, Bob, awesome! Thank you for joining the premium membership. I super appreciate it. There's going to be a lot of content to catch up on in there. So hope you enjoy the plethora of background painting content you have the future, I guess. But that's the goals wrapped up, and now we look at beyond. What is beyond the goals? As I said, talking about armies, always a ton going on. There's always a million more things I want to do. Actually, before we get to beyond, I do want to cover one thing, talking about how my buddy Wee is doing all the script writing right now for our videos. I am hoping to hire an editor, either part-time or full-time, to do 1 to 2 battle reports, to edit 1 to 2 of our battle reports every week, at least one a week, because just for the reliability. I'd love to offload that fully to someone else so that we can, again, be painting up more. I can be doing other things. You guys, we've talked about it before with our premium members. I'd love to do tactic, focused videos, whether it's deep dives or specific things about a certain mechanic of the game. I'd love to work with all the guys on our team in creating that kind of content. But there's just no capacity for it right now until I can get some help on the editing side. So that's a big goal. That's kind of a behind the scenes thing that I'm hoping to do. Ideally, it would be someone local. I'm saying this because reach out to me if you're a film editor and no AOS, because I want to talk to you. But it would ideally be someone local to the GTA, so we can meet up and eventually, be able to work together more easily. But I'm not opposed to doing this, to hiring someone to edit remotely. Whatever, it's just got to get done, and it can be done remotely. You just gotta have a good internet connection and upload and download a lot of footage, gigs, it's probably our battle reports, and we only film in HD, but it's just the length of the videos. It's probably 300 gigs to 400 gigs of video footage every battle report. So if you're interested remote or know anybody who would be, they have to have a decent internet connection, unfortunately. But anyways, talking again beyond, I mentioned again the new armies coming up. That stuff's going on, as well as the ones. So Stormcast and Soulblight debuting Thursday. Sons of Behemoth being on the channel for more games, with their first game back being us filming it this week. It'll probably be 2 or 3 weeks till that comes out. We've added Korn again. We've been the Chaos factions. We've been relying on RKO a lot, but I try and say that when we put up membership votes that it is going to be an Archaon army, just for full disclosure, because I know we've had a little feedback of people getting a little tired of it, but also equally we've had people that have responded saying they love it. Not only is it does Archaon have a big place in the meta, but we wouldn't have been able to play Korn on the channel yet if not for that huge point sink into the army helping us get it. We have a full Korn army. It's just not all painted yet. So I am excited to get 2 or 3 more Bloodthirsters painted up for some pure red demon smashiness, but not quite there yet. Paperboy, just seeing the chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. The kind words about our bat reps. Again, you guys blow me away all the time. At events, meeting new people. It's so exciting hearing the great things and feedback and whatnot. It's funny being like editing day to day. I feel like I'm in a bubble by myself where I don't see the impact it's having. And then uh, people like Tyler Buckets, who was here this weekend, from the outside and a big part of the AOS Coach Discord, talking about how much of an impact it's had and how much people enjoy it from an outside perspective. It's so nice to hear, guys. So thank you so much for all the kind words you've ever said. It honestly keeps me sane and wanting to work harder and harder to make the channel better and better for you guys, as it does for all of our teams. So I'm sure they're saying thank you in the chat as well, and we all appreciate it and love it and are so thankful. Other than that, mentioned these guys behind me. Again, go check out that vote if you haven't voted on it already, or do it after the stream. And oh yeah, in addition to the new armies, one of the new things that we've wanted to do for a long time, and actually may help with the workload at some times, is we are now prepared and set up to live stream games for the first time. So actually, this camera setup I'm using one of my old small Sony DSLRs, our first oldest camera that the channel, or we used on the channel, but I've had it for like 10 years. This camera, setting this up and recording through it to OBS, was me practicing and figuring out how to do this and all the setup I needed to know so that we could live stream games, which we can now do. So again, similar to like some of the other, doing the extra or the specialty battle report next month, I want to start live streaming a game, ideally a game a month or 2 games a month maybe, just for kind of a different experience and test that out and just see what the reception is. Obviously, we love our kind of condensed format, and we've got a lot of great feedback about the condensed format, and we're never gonna go away from that. It's always going to be kind of the mainstay. But for a battle report once a month or twice a month, it would help us kind of free up more time, because the live stream is obviously, we don't have the behind the scenes 20-30 hours of production that goes into the battle report. So prepare for that. Expect that in the coming month or two. But I'm excited to do that, and yeah, we'll see. It's going to come soon, and hopefully you guys enjoy it as we make fools of ourselves because we can't edit out all our mistakes and whatnot, in terms of like just stumbling over words and not knowing ability names and that kind of thing. And lastly, looking at the future, one of the things I'm most excited for, Cassidy, our lovely narrator and my amazing wife, has recently asked me to start playing Warhammer. So I tweeted about this, but she came up and wanted to get her first games of Warhammer in. I had never pressured her. It was like a year of the channel before the conversation about like the scripts and the narration ever came up. So I never wanted to put pressure. And then she asked to play. So she's played 1 or 2 games with Daughters of Cain now. So she's gonna make her channel debut soon. I think maybe in the next, again, month or two. I'm gonna tell her that you guys tell her your comments. Like I forward her comments. She reads the comments when in videos, especially with the narration and some of her sassy remarks. She loves seeing you guys feedback and whatnot. But Cass is gonna be making her channel debut in the next 3 months. So if you guys want to see that, comment lots in our videos about that, or even here so I can screenshot it and send it to her, just demanding for her to come on the channel. When she is, we'll probably start off with like maybe like a smaller scale game. The Daughters of Cain, her daughter's army that I'm working on for her, isn't painted yet. but I also might just let her play Gardens because I mean they're Gardens, right? So she might play the Gardens on the channel as well. So yeah, she's gonna be Gardens and bow stakes. Who knows? Give her all the filth to play with. Um, but some of those may be like more introductory games or fun games or whatnot, which is something we want to do as well. As we always want to like be informative with the videos from the start. That was one of the big goals of the channel. So you know, I think from my perspective, it would be super helpful to people see that. And I mean, it's going to be a hoot having Cass on the channel. Um, as you know, she's just so sassy, so savage. You guys are going to get to see that live uh, very soon. Anyways, that wraps up the beyond topic, looking at the future of other things going on behind the scenes. Tyler, 100% right. Cassidy is like all our hopes and dreams are riding on Cassidy's shoulders, and she is carrying us into the future on her shoulders with her amazing narration that she's added to the videos. It's honestly, as you guys all know, was a huge production step up for us in terms of the content and making it more watchable because well we are always very tactical focused. It's hard to watch the games. I first, happy to be the first one to say it. I always felt from the start that our format really would benefit from narration. I just never felt comfortable doing it myself. It's not really in my wheelhouse, and I thought it'd be super awkward narrating my own games. So Cassidy is just the angel in my life that has made it all possible and really brought it all together. But that's everything for kind of the channel update portion of what's been going on. And yeah, we'll jump into the Q&A. I'm again kind of looking back and forth at chat and trying to keep it up as much as I can right now. But Q&A, the first thing I'm going to do is go through the comments our premium members left on a post from earlier today, and talk about, I guess, these questions first, and then if there's anything more you guys want to chat about, dive into more. But Third had three questions or wanted three topics covered. First, general state of the game. I would say just brief, quick thoughts. AOS is in the best position it's ever been in the time that I've played it. Hands down. Now, I think that shows itself in a number of ways. You look at like statistically the win rates. Well, we want everything to be between like 45 and 55% win rate. A 40 to 60 is, I think, acceptable for how diverse the armies are in our game. And unlike video games, it's so much harder to balance, especially with the pandemic and production issues and all that, making life even tougher for everyone. But the armies or the game's still in an amazing place. And you look at like, there are obviously some armies that are having more success than others, but in general, you look at like just the overall variety of armies that you see in like top tens or podiums at events. Like there's so much diversity. It's insane. Like there's a ton. Now you'll see like, we all know, or if you keep up with the stats on awesome channels like the Honest Wargamer, they talked about the stats. It's like Lumineth and the Sons of Bahamut are two of the big villains, but they're not infallible, like we've seen in previous armies in the last edition. So I think the game's in a great spot. I always think there's room for improvement, but it's such a great game. We have such an awesome community. So general state of the game, two big thumbs up for me. Love where things are at, and I'm having a ton of fun playing it. So way more depth to it. AOS 3 is amazing. The tactical depth. I could go on forever just this. Like, actually, the next question is story in tournaments and the problem/feature of a close win or loss counting the same as a stomp. So, I think third might have been referring to like kind of the 20 system, maybe that some events do, where it's like 20 for a major, or depending on how close it is, um, or it could, yeah. The I guess what I would say in that, in regards to scoring, I loved what Red Harvest did, Josh RTO, this past weekend, of the first, parameter, or the first ranking thing is wins. How many wins do you have? To me, that should always be the first one, because winning a game at the end of the day, no matter how close it is, you got the win. Um, but I do think you should be rewarded for having a close game and scoring a lot of points, which is why I think battle points, or victory point, combined victory points, as like the first tiebreaker, or the ranking for things like best general, is a really important thing to have. Um, yes, there's issues with like some missions scoring more than others, but every army is playing or everyone's playing on the same missions, so everyone has the same challenges. Though losing on like the one mission where you only score 1 point for a win or loss, maybe it needs to be like 20 points for a win or a loss. I can see a change there, um, because that kind of can skew things. If you lose that and only lose 1 point, and then win big in all your other games, could skew things. But that's, I think, just the issue of one mission. But for instance, my GT this past weekend, I lost one game by 1 point to Yuri, and I still scored 26 that game. And he played super great the rest of the tournament, and I played my ass off the rest of the tournament too, and we both ended up on the podium. So I think having a system where the wins are rewarded first, but you can still fight back and fight to the top of your bracket. Again, Rob at the Honest Wargamer and those guys talking about the brackets, I think, is an amazing discussion of like, look at the 5-0s, the 4-1s, the 3-2s. They're all so like such big accomplishments. All those steps, and as you're getting into AOS and learning more and getting better, like making the step from getting your first win at a tournament to getting your first 2-win event, and all that stuff is a huge milestone. So I'm a big fan of like the victory points, battle points being the first tiebreaker, because, and it's a hard thing to do, and yeah, so I think that rewards tactical play. I worked about 25, humble brag, 25 battle tactics across 5 games. I did not drop a single battle tactic. That was my goal going into the event. I got all 5 battle tactics in all 5 of my games. So I'm, as someone who like plays a general's army, I'm a big fan of like that being worth something. I guess. So I gotta go quicker with these, or else we're gonna be here all night. But his third point was, when will my dream come true and Slaanesh be represented on the channel? Well, I don't think it's come out yet, but I played a Legion of the First Prince game and summoned 10 Demonettes. So that will be the first Slaanesh debut ever. But a little more seriously, as an army, I love Slaanesh aesthetically. I don't necessarily, like, they're in a tough spot, but that doesn't really mean much. I'd still love to play them and collect them, but I just don't have enough of them yet. Like, I have some Slaanesh stuff in the closet, but I don't have the army that I would want to build and paint yet, so I just haven't gotten around to it. But honestly, with the growth of the channel, if we get to that, long term, where this is like for sure a long term goal thing that I'm going to be hopefully doing for the rest of my life, I would love to add Slaanesh. I want to do a Sigvald, Keeper Secrets, and again, not the competitive build, not that they have many, but like the slick blade seekers and like the mounted seeker archers. Like, I fucking love those models, and I just want to build and paint them and throw them on the table, and it'll be a good matchup for Night Haunt until they get a new book, so we can get some of the other armies represented more. Because that's actually a challenge of our, when we put up the voting in matchups, is like, we can't, it's hard to sometimes pair different armies when we don't have all the armies, and we don't have, Sylvaneth is a middle tier and they have insane AoE immortal wounds. Not that we have to always take the strongest build, but Night Hunt has a tough time competing. We've had a couple good games with them actually on the channel where they've fought really close games with armies that are a step above, but that's a challenge we face trying to with any of the armies. Okay. Next Q&A questions coming from Jose. What's my favorite mission and least favorite mission? I would say the mission I complain about the most is the Vice, just because it was like it can be really challenging depending on the opponent. For Lumineth, I've found. So that's the one I complain about the most. But actually, my least favorite mission is the one. Is it Power Struggle, where you don't store the first turn you hold objectives, except for the store more, but you only store the hold 1, hold 2 on the second turn. I just think that's an annoyingly problematic mechanic to keep track of and remember, and just adds so much bookkeeping that you don't want to have to be doing. So just from that perspective, that would be my least favorite mission. And then my most favorite mission would be that's tough. I don't know if I have a favorite. Missions, I don't know. Missions were what did we play? What was round 5 at we played, I forget the name of it, but it was you have the 4 objectives kind of in the box, diagonal deployment. You're deployed on 1. It's hold 1, hold 2, hold more. Not power numbers. It's the one where there's no deep striking actually. So maybe it's not my favorite mission, because that's problematic for a bunch of armies. But I was gonna say I like that because with Lumineth the objectives are super far apart. But yeah, Savage Gains is awesome actually. I love the old Border War. So Savage Gains is great. There's a bunch spreading off. Tectonic Interference, yeah. Shifting, yeah, the old shifting objectives. Feral Foray is good. Yeah, I love most of them. There's just maybe like 2 or 3 that I think are a little problematic, like the hero storing one with like, as we saw in our last premium battle report, can be problematic when you have like Daughters of Cain or Archeon. That can be problematic to have in a mission pack. So that's probably again one of my least favorites. If then second question from Jose: if I could organize a tournament, how would you do it? We've talked about this as a team before. We would love to eventually run different events. Now it's hard to do right now with space in Ontario and the COVID restrictions, and space rental is expensive. But perhaps the biggest barrier to us running events is that we just want to play in them too badly. So the hardest part is making 1 or 2 of us sit on the sidelines. But I would love to, one of the dream goals in the future, if we could ever get our own space to host events or something, whether it's renting or whatnot. I would love to do like quarterly battle reports, one for every season, on brand for Season of War, like in the spring, summer, fall, that kind of thing, and different kinds of events. We love teams, and in Ontario, in Canada, there's not a lot of team events. There's only really one, so I'd love to see more team events. I was casually planning a team event early 2022, but just kind of who knows if I'm going to pull the trigger on that or not. But I'd love to, but I also just want to play in it, so it's hard. And then what's my feelings on the new rule set of 3rd edition? I kind of mentioned that from Third's questions, but I love AOS 3. New edition's awesome. So much tactical depth. So much. You play to the end of every game now. You don't call it bottom of 2 because it's over, because they're never over. And even if it is over, you're clawing for every single point you can get. Like, even if you're behind, you're going for that extra kill with a monster on broken ranks to get that one extra point, because that might put you ahead of someone in your tiebreakers at the end. T. Sterling Little asks, any plans to do more narrative content? Love to see Path to Glory or a series of battles linked with more of a story and some named heroes. Yes, actually, very exciting thing about the live battle reports, live streams, is I want to do more stuff like that. I'm someone who enjoys all aspects of the hobby. I can be a very competitive player, but I also I fucking played. Excuse my language. I've played the casual games all the time, and I have friends that are all types of players and play groups, and I did a Path to Glory League locally at X Planet, actually around the corner from me, and that was a ton of fun. I did that with Sylvaneth, and I would love to do more of that. But I guess what I was going to say about live streams is that's, I think, the best format for that kind of content, because we can kind of be more engaged, and it's more personal, and shooting the shit, and more we can be bigger nerds about talking about our heroes going off and being idiots and whatnot. So that'll be fun, and we can have a couple cold beverages while we play and just have a good time with it. So love to do more of that kind of content. Yeah, more narrative and kind of thematic stuff like that, and do like the random battle or random missions from like the new battle tomes, now that we can't use the old battle tome missions. Like some of the thematic ones from army books and core rules, because the core rule book has 3 missions in it. We played one of them before the GHB came out. Me and Ridge did. I would love to play more of them because they were interesting, and they actually had different battle tactics as well, which were completely different games that kind of play. Just changes the battle tactics, completely changes the system, and that's one of the exciting things about AOS 3, and I think the new yearly seasonal kind of precedent that they kind of set, and hopefully we see that again change every year. So yeah, also on the note of different formats for the live streams, I would also love to be able to do more. We've talked about it before, like an inter-team tournament, or not necessarily inter-team, but just with channel armies and a tournament over a certain amount of time. Channels have done that in the past. Tabletop Titans, a big one that they're mostly 40K, but they play the odd AOS game. Some of the best live stream battle reports. I'm not a huge 40K follower by any means, but I watch a lot of their content just because they're awesome guys and produce awesome stuff. And they've been a huge inspiration for us with our own channel as well. So yeah, lots of more stuff coming. Peter asks, any lists you played on the show that you felt surprised you? Fun and or competitive wise, or that changed your opinion of the list, army, or unit in some way? I think always a big moment for me was the first time coming from AOS 2. I can't hit my table, shakes my camera. Coming from AOS 2, the Guardians, Sons of Bahamut, were obviously not in the position they were now. They were pretty underpowered comparatively, maybe lower middle tiered army. But so when they were kind of ascending in early AOS 3, I played against Oliver twice. I think both times with my Lumineth, and he just kicked my ass. And that actually was a huge reason for why I pivoted my list competitively, from learning in those games, and leading up to barring this weekend, I lost to Yuri again by a point. But I took a list that wasn't as good against Guardians, but previously I was 5-0 against Guardians in tournaments, including 2 games against Yuri. So me and Yuri have a good, healthy, friendly competition going on. So I'll have to get him back for this past weekend. But so that's one. Also, me and Rich have been playing Legion of the First Prince lately on the channel, and there's another game coming up where I played them. But then when Tyler was down, Tyler is like one of the best Legion of the First Prince players in the world. If you play on AOS Coach Discord, or if you're in their Discord, you probably have seen him, playing a ton in there. And yeah, those guys, he's awesome. And so for me and Ridge, like learning the army, and then on Friday we filmed the battle report, or I filmed the battle report with him, and seeing him play the army was just like the difference of when you play you're learning a good an army compared to someone who's played like 30 to 50 games with it. It's just they just know it so much deeper, and so seeing an army that I thought I knew how it played and then played by like a master was really cool. So that game is going to be coming out, and that was actually both of us playing our tournament lists from this weekend. And it was a nuts game, nuts battle report. So again, that'll be two weeks or so. So that comes out, but I think everyone will enjoy that. So yeah. Tyler mentioned Alumnia as one that surprised him. I would love to play more Lumineth Alumnia, but they got hurt by like the command ability rules in AOS 3, or that list did in my books. But it's still got play. I do want to play it again. Alumnia on the channel. I love them. It's actually the closest army scheme to what I painted. My favorite paint jobs I've done, probably my Deepkin right now, because they're the most finished. But I think when I get my Lumineth done, they'll probably kind of eclipse my Deepkin. And then any pet models, units you play or want to play at events, even though it isn't competitive enough for them in my mind. Literally this weekend, I was stressing so much. I've been playing Lumineth so much competitively over the past 6 months. And then leading up to this tournament, I was like just stressing too much about fine tuning my list. And then last minute, just like off a random comment Carl made, I just was like, screw it. I'm gonna drop 20 Sentinels because I was running 40 to 50 competitively, and I was like 19-1 at events, or 18-2 or something at events with my Lumineth, just all local RTTs. I dropped my extra 20 Sentinels for the Lord Regent, who I love and I love that model, and I put so much work into his paint job, and 5 Dawn Riders because I love Dawn Riders. I'm a huge cavalry fan. Any army that has cavalry, I try to make it an all cavalry army, and none of them are viable. Like Swiftblade Seekers, I would love to do like a cavalry Slanesh army. Not the most viable, so it's tough. But Dawn Riders, I'm like, I've had these guys half painted for half a year or more. This is my excuse. I'm going to run Dawn Riders and Red Harvest just so I can paint them up, get them on the table. They'll look cool. They're not the like number crunching. They're not the best unit. They're not the best choice, but they do have a tactical element that adds something different to your army, which is a strength of its own. So not as much of a straight hammer or like straightforward unit, but has different kinds of depth. So that's I guess 2 of my pet units that I for events that I spice in there a little bit. I played Matt on the weekend, and in the comments he just mentioned Dawn Riders that can climb mountains. And I will verify that those Dawn Riders teleported on top of a mountain in my game against Matt. There was like this little, or not little, it was like 9 1/4 inches tall in the middle of his army. There was this like little plateau terrain piece, and that teleported a unit of Dawn Riders in almost the middle of his army, but 9 inches away from everything. That's why Games Workshop needs to clarify the terrain rules, because people like me will take advantage of them. So fix those terrain rules, and that's all I wanted in AOS 3. That was the number one thing. So hopefully, but yeah, that happened, and then Vordry ate them alive. So it was short-lived glory, but he flew up there and took him out. Tim asks, how have 2 videos a week been going? I know it's a ton of work. Yeah, as I explained earlier, it is a ton of work. It's been a struggle at times. So I appreciate you guys. Nights like tonight, hanging out both in the chat as well as being understanding that once in a while there has to be concessions just for logistics. Otherwise, I wouldn't get to go do events, and I'm doing this whole channel because I love this game so much and the community, and that's what you get at events. Assistant Ref says, what are your thoughts on the new missions? From what I can tell, you seem to choose them randomly. Yep, we do them completely randomly. Well, mostly randomly. We have a checklist, and we roll for missions till we go through all 12. And then we start again, and we play all missions once until we've done all or it's 12. And so we roll them randomly, but after we've done 6, there's only 6 options left. So it's not completely random, but limited random. But it's, pretty much, unless it's going to be like super debilitating, like unless it was like a deep striking army on the non-deep striking missions, we generally that's the only time we might avoid it, but 99% of the time we just play what we roll, because that's what you have to do sometimes at events. So it's, we don't tailor our lists, try and take all comers, all that. We just want it to be kind of as impartial as possible. But my thoughts on them, as I mentioned before, overall, like 9 of the missions are probably really good. And there's 3 that are a little problematic, being like the non-deep striking one, the hero scoring one, and I don't remember what the other one was, but there's a couple that like just have a little bit of issues. Linkers asks what armies lists you have in the works. Mentioned a couple. So Sons of Behemoth, they're a new addition. They're amazingly painted by Scott Frederick, his guy out in BC that I bought this army from. They just arrived today, so I'm super excited to get them on the channel. But then we have Stormcast coming out. Their debut is this Thursday. I'm, again, working on a ton of new units for all our armies. And new armies, though, I did pick up a used bundle of Soulblight Gravelords, mostly new in box still, and some stuff assembled but unpainted. No timeline on that for getting it painted. I look at potentially commissioning it out, but I just really want to paint that myself, but I don't have the time. That's why I want to hire someone to edit so I can just paint all the time. So Soulblight is going to be down the road. Don't expect that anytime soon for the channel. And Daughters of Cain, I have it built. It was my buddy who's doing all the scripts right now. I commissioned him to build it for me. My brother's commissioning him. My brother has Soulblight Gravelords too, actually, so you might see his, before mine. And he's commissioning right now to paint 110 zombies. So my brother's so nice. And then what else? I collect stuff just randomly. Over the past couple of years, been fortunate to win some big prizes at some events. So I have like a big one of the old like KO Battle Force boxes, and I start collecting. I have a bunch of KO stuff in the closet. So maybe that's an army I would get done for the channel eventually. But Carl has that, so we get that on the channel a lot. So there's no rush on a KO army. I have some Slanesh stuff in there. Slaves to Darkness, but again, Zach has Slaves to Darkness, but Zach has a more limited availability, so maybe we'll get Slaves to Darkness so we can run them more on the channel. But again, no specific timeline or order on any of these. His second question then, Linkers, was future plans for the channel, and then in brackets, any subscriber goals. As you would have seen earlier or heard earlier, I talked about those. We do have new goals that we're just launching right today, or I'll probably post about them tomorrow, but you're hearing here first. And if you're watching this back after, I will go back and kind of timestamp all the videos or create chapters so that you can go bounce back and for the different topics. So, if you want to hear about the goals, scroll back. Favorite, least favorite armies to play against. I love armies. I don't want to say necessarily control armies, but control is an element of it. But I love armies that I feel are like very tactical and like, I just, what I consider like generals armies, where it's like all about your decision making and you win and lose on your choices. Now, granted, Lumineth is a strong army. You're never going to hear me say otherwise, but that army still lives and dies on the choices you make. And yeah, so that's what I love. I felt Deepkin in the last edition was the same thing, where in their respective editions, those two armies were both like strong control armies that aren't necessarily auto winning a ton of matchups, but they don't necessarily have hard counters either, which is what I like. I want to have play in every game, and I want it to all ride on my shoulders as much as possible. Least favorite armies to play against. I don't actually mind playing against them, but Sons of Behemoth are like the most irksome army to me. There's obviously their straightforward army, which is fine. It's great to have armies like that in the game, and it's actually very fitting that like your high-minded elf general gets annoyed by these big brutes that just run forward and smash. It's actually like very thematic to like the lore and whatnot. So I would GW nailed it in that regard. They annoy me, but it's a cool army nonetheless, and that's not to take any still like any army. Excellent play by the general will just take that army a step further, as locally we've seen with Yuri, who's just been running rampant with them. But I try to play him because I've taken him down a couple times, but we've had some good even matchups between us. Third, so actually this is a new cool addition from YouTube for our premium members that we haven't seen before. But all our premium members get access to, I think it's once a month, you can do like the specialty top chat, which normally you get with a donation, and it highlights the chat. I would eventually, once I figure out streaming a little better, like to figure out how to get that to like pop up on the stream so you see it on the screen. I haven't figured that out yet, so I want to do that. But premium members, you get one free of those chats a month just by being a premium member. So third, awesome. Just saying that you enjoyed the chat, so thank you. I've been enjoying it as well, and glad you guys have as well, and appreciate you sticking around. What else? So fourth question from Linkers: any clutch moments, stories from recent tournaments to share? Yeah. Well, here's a moment from my last game of the tournament this past weekend. It's a clutch moment, but not actually in my favor. It was my I guess I made a play and it didn't go well, or it didn't pan out. So little tech piece here with Lumineth. I've been running Umbral Spell Portal a lot, but lately I've switched back to Emerald Life Storm instead, because I can only fit one endless spell on my list. Because something like Lambent Light, which is the key thing you need to get through Umbral Spell Portal, it costs you 2 spells to do that. You cast Spell Portal, you cast Lambent Light through it. Another way to do that is you teleport a unit, and then that unit telecasts Lambent Light. A little bit risky because you can't do it with Techless, but it's even, or if Lambent or Spell Portal gets unbound, you can. That's a little tech piece, a little trick for you Lumineth players, or if you're playing against Lumineth, watch out for that. But what I did, I was playing Zytrek this past weekend, so my Lord Regent knows his War Scroll spell, 2 spells, and then also Overwhelming Heat that he gets from my sub-faction. So turn 1, bottom of the round against Carl, so I had to play inter-team matchup bottom of round, or last round of the tournament. Bottom of the round, I teleported my Lord Regent after using the Aether Quartz to double cast him, and then cast Overwhelming Heat on one of his Maw Crushers. I killed the one he threw, the other one, which he threw into me. So this was the one he was trying to protect. So this is half movement on that Maw Crusher. And then because he double cast, he also went to cast Lambent Light on the unit of pigs. So I could eliminate a unit of pigs. Would have been a big play, meant I'm freed up to shooting. But I miscast that spell. So then my Lord Regent took a mortal wound and it was anticlimactic. And I only killed 2 out of the 3 pigs. My Lord Regent was on the objective with 1 pig. They're both 2 models, so I didn't take that objective. That cost me 2 points. And actually meant the next turn, I didn't get Lambent Light off again. So I had to shoot all 30 Sentinels to finish 1 pig just because it was my battle tactic. I couldn't afford to fail it. So that actually was a huge play that didn't go my way, but it was a huge moment in the game and just a kind of cool one. So little trick in there. Then Tyler, who is also in the chat. Tyler, always appreciate Tyler, one of the hosts of the Warhammer Weekly show. I'm sure you know of it if you know of this channel. So, and another one of our first premium subscribers and a good Sylvaneth buddy that I always talk to. Although we haven't chatted as much about our tree elves lately, but we're kind of on to different armies. But Tyler asks, when do I get to rep a Season of War hat on Warhammer Weekly? Well, there is currently only 1 Season of War hat in the world, and it is owned by Ridge, and I don't think he'll give it away. He got it custom made. Yeah, that's the story to that. So Ridge has one. Eventually, we would like to do hats and merch and all that stuff, but again, I haven't had the time to really look into it. I'll go through Teespring or one of those companies that they take care of all the fulfillment, because I've from my actual company before doing the channel kind of full time, I had done had stuff made and then sold it on a web store, not on any large scale, but it was just such a hassle, shipping and all that. I don't want to deal with it. And I've run a web store for most of my life, it feels like, through different hobbies and whatnot. And it's tough. So who knows? In the future, Tyler, you'll get a hat in the future. What do you think the main issues with the game? I would say, actually, go check out Warhammer Weekly. Tyler and Vince did a great video about this a week or 2 ago, about just kind of the state of the game. But one of the big issues I think the game has right now is save stacking is very problematic, especially in conjunction with the big heroes and monsters. You've seen events ban named characters or unique characters, and that's not, to me, that's not the right solution. They're only bad because of save stacking. So that's something that needs to be cleared up. I think Tyler had the point that if you stop save stacking, it has the potential to have other unintended consequences, like all your little heroes dying. But you guys on the show had a great idea about it just being, I don't remember what it was, maybe limited in some way for certain abilities. I don't know. But find a way to keep little heroes alive. Or no, it was actually the comment was about Amulet of Destiny. Only let in single-digit wounded heroes use Amulet, because adding 16, 17 wounds to a Mega Guardian is a lot different than adding, 2 wounds to a small hero. But yeah, so that's a big issue. Save stacking, Ethereal Amulet. I'd say the unique artifacts and traits in general are very problematic because they're largely just better. But so those would be a couple things. Who do we need to bribe to get more Ironjaws and Stormcast Eternals bat reps? Nobody, Tyler, because Carl, in the past 2 weeks, painted up an entire Ironjaws army not just for Red Harvest. He pulled the trigger a month before of getting the army done in time for Red Harvest, and he's coming next week for a game. So at least one game we're filming next week with his Ironjaws, and I don't have another Stormcast game lined up, but the first one comes out this Thursday. So probably depending on the votes, maybe in the next week or two we'll film another Stormcast game. But I do want to get like a more representative build um, done and ready for the channel because right now it's all Dominion stuff. Like I ran kind of like 5 units of Annihilators, so the Annihilator spam build, which is like not not the not the best example of that book either, or what the book has to offer. So excited to get some more units painted up and on the table. Next thing I'm working on is 6 launch strikes, to nobody's surprise. Um, Alex asks, he would love to know where we get our table mats from. Most of them, I think 5 out of the 6 of the ones I own are from, I think is it Deep Cut Studios? Let me look that up real quick. Apologies. .com maybe? Studios. I think it's Deep Cut Studios. Yeah, it is Deep Cut Studios. They're in Europe, so it was super expensive to ship them over here, but they're amazing. I love their mats, and they were all thematic, and I had a good idea of what kind of terrain sets from printable scenery I could print to work with those mats, so it came together beautifully. That's where I get my mats. Not sponsored or anything. I just like them, and I paid full price and way too much in shipping for them. Alan asks, or he's commenting that it's way too late for him to watch. Alan actually is like, I think, was our second premium member ever. So big shout out to Alan. Love him. He's been super supportive and kind as well. So I hope, Alan, love you. You're the best. Thank you so much. Hope you catch this later. But he would like to know how an episode is made from the initial idea to the finished product. So I actually went over most of the process earlier. But I guess the only thing that wasn't talked about was setting up the match. So typically, you guys know we put up the votes, and our premium members, you all vote for them. But before that stage, usually we pick one army, whether it's a new army or just an army one of us wants to play really badly because we have a new list idea or something. So or it's like there's an army like Deepkin that never wins votes. For whatever reason, it never gets voted for as the opponent. So I'll like want to bring my Deepkin out sometimes, or because I haven't played recently. So that's usually how we pick the first army. Just for one reason or another, we pick one army, and then we pick 3 other armies. Usually 3 other armies that would be not necessarily even good matchups for them. We don't, we try not to like, again, tailor the matchups at all, but just like we pick armies that they haven't faced it off yet or haven't played against much. Actually, maybe remind me in a comment sometime, and I'll actually post it up. I have a spreadsheet of all our armies and do just cross section of which ones have played each other. And between all of us, we have a ton of armies, so it's a huge spreadsheet. And so if Iron Jaws is our first army we're choosing, I'll look down the list of like what armies they haven't played, and between what's available to me and whoever or whatever 2 players are playing. So that's how we picked 3 armies to go for the vote, and then premium members, you guys pick out of those 3 who they play. And obviously, sometimes we try and guess a lot of the time of who we think you guys are going to vote for, and we're probably at 50-50. Sometimes you guys are on the one-track mind, exactly what we're thinking, especially when there's obvious choices like Stormcast when we have new stuff out, or Soulblight Gravelords when it's the first potential appearance on the channel. Other times though, you guys throw us for a complete loop, so you're unpredictable. But again, we want to create battle reports that you guys enjoy in a format that you enjoy, and we want to play armies that you guys enjoy seeing or want to learn about and whatnot. And we do want to represent all the armies in the game if we can, whether it's owning them here or having buddies come on the channel like Matt and like Tyler, who have been on and they have bat reps coming out, or bat reps with them coming out. It's awesome to get all the armies showcased. Um, Alan's also curious as to know how Cass felt about the voiceovers. So I mentioned before I was very slow with getting her involved. Not slow. I had no plans, but I was just like, there's never pressure. And then we talked about it at one point that, like that the bat reps would really benefit from the narration. And then Cass offered. And I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, sure, let's do it. That'd be great. And we did one, and the first one we did, it went live, and the reception it got. I was showing Cass, and we were looking at the comments together, and she's like, "I'm gonna have to do this for every battle report from now on, aren't I?" I was like, "Yep, you are. You're stuck. You're locked in." So yeah, that's she's hooked, but it is tough. So right now we pretty much like she's on maternity leave, so with the baby all day long until I'm off work. So it's tough because we have to record like during naps or in the evening when our daughter Jaina is down, which is like Cass's only time to relax. So it's tough on her. Um, to like do that when she's like tired and all that, and try to be upbeat. So super appreciate that, and uh, maybe juggling when she goes back to work, it'll be another adventure. But we'll figure it out one way or another. Thought of like potentially maybe trying to find someone else to do help with the narration as well. So we have one or two people doing it, but who knows? Cass is awesome and amazing, and she's a lot cheaper than anyone else right now because friends and family discount. Um, then lastly, Alan is asking about some of the seasonal war dice. So we made custom dice for ourselves primarily. The idea originally was to sell them, but with just being so busy, I shut down the web store because it was just too much work to handle. So the dice right now, the only way we're not selling them on a store or anything as of yet. Maybe I'll do it like we'll use them for giveaways or something. I think is actually a great idea. But for the most part, if I remember to pack them, we like to give little baggies of like 4 dice out to our opponents at events. So that's currently that. Or if you're local to me and like tell me you want to buy a dice, I'll sell you dice just because you like. I don't no profit or anything, but just paying the cost of what it was to make them. I'm happy to uh, let anyone do it. It's just I don't want the hassle of shipping. I can't. Yeah, it's tough right now. Just so much going on. So if you ever see me an event, or you're going to see me at an event, like we're going to Du Bois in November, which is in the U.S., and you want dice, I can bring some with me. So shoot me a message or something and let me know. And then Thomas says he has a couple of questions. If you could change anything about the current rules, or what would it be? Again, save stacking, find a better system for that, change it. It will have other consequences, but figure them out. Easy peasy. Obviously not easy, but that would be my fix there. And then Amulet of Destiny is just hugely problematic, as well as again the command traits, general command traits. My opinion on Cruel Boys, haven't played them yet, and I'm not the type of person who like I don't read battle tomes and like fully understand an army. I really need reps and practice against it to like get a feel for it. So it sounds like they have some cool tricks and combos, which is neat. So I look forward to seeing them more on the table. I guess there were one or two Cruel Boys at the tournament, but I didn't play against them. So yeah, I think the tricks that they have is thematic. So that's a neat element. And yeah, is there any chance Cruel Boys are to be featured on the channel? Again, I'd love to bring someone on who owns them. I don't own them. No one on the channel. I think Carl actually has some stuff. He might have sold it, but none of us are working on a Cruel Boys army right now, so no current plans. But who knows? Maybe in the future. or I'll try and poke a friend if I know someone that you know. Oh well, Matt just commented that he's got a full Cruel Boys army painted up and ready to go. So we're gonna bug Matt and drag him out here for another battle report. Again, it sounds like always happy to play Matt. We always have great games, so you'll see the first one this Thursday actually, and I'm not to spoil it, so it's a game. So hopefully soon, Cruel Boys. Thanks, Matt, for volunteering. You saying you have the army is you volunteering. That's how I'm taking it. So, what is your opinion about OBR competitively with and without Nagash? With Nagash, very competitive, like up A+ army, can compete for top 10s, podiums, and even wins at events. I would say they're not, they have maybe tougher matchups compared to like some of the top armies, but that's normal. There's always a sliding scale, but I think they're in the mix. Without Nagash, I think they have a tougher time because they are just the range of armies that they have bad matchups against gets a lot larger without Nagash, I think, because of the mortal wounds he adds, the range he adds, the tricks he adds. I think that's both are viable, but I think OBR and like Nagash is a very strong piece, as we've obviously seen right now in the meta. Darktron, awesome! Thank you for joining the premium membership, and I can tell you're from Toronto, or at least you support the Raptors because of your logo. So, great job. Always support the Toronto teams, even though I don't follow sports a ton. Besides racing, Formula One, that's all I watch right now. But gotta support the home team. Do I think and this is again about OBR, do I think they're doing well with just their own abilities, command abilities, and RDP abilities instead of the generic ones? I think they're fine. It's a different tool set, but it's not necessarily better or worse, because I'm sure I would way rather have access to +1 rend in combat than redeploy, because every time I do redeploy, I just roll a 1 anyways, so it's a waste of a command point. So I'd rather have one of the Petrifex abilities or something like that. So they have their own strengths. They're not the tool set everyone else has, but that's not necessarily an advantage or a disadvantage. It's just different. And then the last premium member comment from this post was, I want to know how to build the table you guys play on. I have open space in the basement. Well, this is actually a long time comment that we've been getting from different people over the history of the channel. I wanted to do a video about building the table, but it was at the time that I was moving out of the shop into the basement. So it just wasn't feasible for me to film it because I just didn't have the time. And I had to build it before I moved out of the shop because I didn't have the space to build it at my home. So yeah, there's a couple of videos. I built a couple tables. I've built workbenches for I built 30 workbenches over the past 10 years for my workshops and whatnot that I've had. So I originally just looked at YouTube videos about building a workbench or building DIY gaming tables. Just check out YouTube; they'll be super inspiring. And you look at what they did, and then just adjust the measurements to fit our table size. That's basically what I did. So look at people on YouTube who know more about carpentry than me. But that brings us to the end of the Q&A comments that we had from our premium members. before the stream. So unless you guys have any other questions, we'll probably be wrapping it up in the next few minutes. Third says Formula E is dope. It is dope. I do agree, and it had a very exciting season this year. I don't watch it regularly. Again, time being the biggest factor, but Formula One, I'm pretty religious about. It's like the only sport I'm like hardcore because it's also very easily digestible. Like I can watch one race every 2 weeks, and that's about the amount of time I can invest into sports right now. Tron says he's addicted to collecting more armies, and what do I think of the FAQ update Iron Jaws? For Iron Jaws, I think Iron Jaws are amazing. We saw 7 Iron Jaws armies this weekend at Red Harvest out of 48 armies. Is a huge chunk of the meta. A bunch of them had mirror matchups, so they knocked each other out, I feel like, which hurt. But Carl piloted them super well, and actually in a bad matchup for him made me friggin' sweat in our game, and we had a very close game. So they're a very strong army. And there's it's similar to, I would say they're surface level, very simple in what they do, but there's a lot of tactical depth with the tricks that they have or the abilities that they have. So you can surprise people, I think, with them, but they're very strong and just very scary just on the sheer damage output that they have, which is an interesting, I think, conundrum for the or addition to the meta, because we have the damage or like the tanky armies that are you have to go into a tournament. You're like, this is if I face up against Sons of Bahamut, I just have to know I have to do this much damage to be able to win the game. But now Iron Jaws is now your army also has to be able to survive this much damage to be able to win the game. So it's just an interesting problem for the meta, I think, because they're fast and hit hard, and they're faster and hit harder than anyone right now. Awesome. Jose Stott, we got a couple Formula One fans in here, so that's sweet. I'm cheering for Max this year to take out Lewis and win his first world championship, just to mix things up. Always got to root for the underdog. But I'm a big fan of the sport in general. Love McLaren, both their drivers. Yeah, love the whole sport. It's a lot of fun. We got 2 Canadians in Formula One right now, so that's exciting as well. But anyways, guys, it's been we're just reaching 2 hours, so I think I actually will wrap it up here. Just so I don't drag you guys through. I could talk about AOS and whatnot forever, but we'll save some content for a future show. I would also like to do more streams like this. At least a monthly channel update is the goal, and adding a Q&A in there or something would be fun as well, and maybe some other shows. Even hobby streams is something I'd like to be set up for. I'm not quite there yet, but I have the equipment to do it. Just need to finish building out my hobby space. But yeah, that's it, guys. I think we'll call it here. Thank you again so much. You guys blow me away all the time with all the support and kind words and encouragement, as well as your support through the premium membership. Again, is just mind blowing, and I can't believe how many people have decided to help support the channel in that way and enjoy the content enough to help. So thank you guys so much. And tonight, mind blowing. We got a bunch of donations from some amazingly kind but crazy people who, again, you guys are amazing, and the whole reason we do this is for you, and you make it all worth it. So thank you guys so much. But that's going to be it for today. We'll see you soon in another battle report. Cheers.